Welcome, Rohan Malhotra, the founder and CEO of Roadzen. Roadzen is traded at the NASDAQ under the ticker RDZN. And Rohan, congratulations on a strong quarter. I understand it was your best report yet since becoming a public company 2 years ago. So it's great to see the progress you've been making. And let's kind of break it down here a little bit and see what some of the things are in this earnings report. So there was about an 18% year over year revenue increase, 18% year to date growth, at least through 9 months. What do you think are the performance drivers behind that, and how sustainable is growth like that?
We posted about 14.4 million of revenue in the quarter ended December. And essentially, that was powered by growth predominantly in our India and US business. And we are seeing pretty good acceleration in those businesses. In fact, as we've spoken before, in our UK business, we've also seen one of the major top five car makers give us a major mandate in a European country. So we anticipate that, this is pretty sustainable growth that we are seeing. And I've said before for investors is to look for each quarter being better than the last. Last quarter was 13.7 million and $1.3 million EBITDA loss. This quarter is 14.4 million with a 570K EBITDA loss. So essentially you're seeing quarter over quarter revenue increases, about 20% year over year revenue increases, and a path towards EBITDA break even that the company has promised and is charting out for investors.
Okay, so let's talk about the EBITDA a little bit more. So six consecutive quarters of improvement, more than 25%, in fact, a better year over year, now nearly a break even. So what is driving that consistent progress that you've been seeing? And can investors expect you to cross into positive territory soon, next quarter, perhaps?
6 quarters ago, our adjusted EBITDA loss was $3 million a quarter. So over 6 quarters, as we've sequentially made gains, we are now at roughly $570,000 a quarter. So there's a clear path to adjusted EBITDA break even that the company has right now. What we are saying is we've been very disciplined on cost control, and each new dollar of revenue gets us closer to EBITDA break even. And that is the path that the company is kind of charting at this moment. In terms of like what is driving that, what we've done is we've basically started using AI a lot of operations internally, right? So we're not hiring people to drive the revenue. We're using AI to make our underwriters, our claims team so much better. And that allows us to scale without adding costs. And that is really the promised land, is to see the AI work in the real world and drive operational efficiencies. So as we are bringing in new revenue and we are controlling the costs, we expect to hit EBITDA break even and cash flow break even as well. So that is kind of the path that we are on at this moment.
And operating loss is also down 25% year over year. When do you expect to reach net profitability?
Well, operating losses, I'd just like to put in a word about that. There was $9 million of operating losses for the year or for the quarter, but that was driven by 5.2 million of non-cash convertible and fair value instrument changes because the stock price went up materially during the quarter between September and December. So essentially, there was a lot of non-cash items that drove that. But from our perspective, EBITDA is the right metric to track because there's a lot of non-cash stuff floating around in the net loss piece, which I think, given that it moves around so much, is not a great metric to track
Mhm.
at this moment. But in terms of net profitability, as we execute and as we right size the balance sheet, what you're going to see is that EBITDA and net profit, net loss will become very close to each other over the next 3 to 4 quarters. At that point, you'll see a very clean story emerge.
Okay. And your AI has been shown to be highly accurate. Can you explain the technology and how that gives you a competitive edge?
I think the one of the compounding advantages of Roadzen is that we don't just see one part of the insurance value chain. We are working on underwriting AI, we have distribution, we have claims management, we have drive buddy on the road safety end, which is a moat that we can see how does driver behavior feed into claims, how does that feed into pricing, how does claims fraud reduction feed into premium reduction. So we have this compounding data advantage. We are now processing over 3 million claims using AI on a run rate basis, 750,000 claims and inspections done this quarter. We are processing almost $17 million dollars of premium every single quarter as a broker. And we've now done almost 4 billion kilometers or 2.5 billion miles of driving using Drive Buddy. We believe there's no company in the world that can match the scale of, millions of claims, billions of data points that are feeding the AI and act as a virtuous cycle that we are continuously performing on. And we think that will have a definitive compounding advantage that should become a real moat for the company over the next years to come.
Okay. And also your India business, just the India business was recently valued at approximately twice the current market cap of the Nasdaq listed parent company, even though Roadzen has a 91% ownership stake, as well as a portfolio of growing operations in the UK and the US as well. So how do you interpret that valuation gap?
I think the stock is an imperfect relationship with the company. We look at the company's performance, we look at our own ability to execute on the plan. And At this stage, I would just say that, if you were just to look at the asset value, the just India business is valued at 2x the global business. So we think there is some level of fundamental disconnect on the stock's performance, but that has been also due to the macro factors, and there's been recent sell-offs in the market. We don't worry about that too much. We just want to execute our fundamental vision, and we believe as we continue to execute, that gap in the performance of the business and the stock should narrow materially. And at that stage, I think we'll all see the performance go up.
And you're in India for the AI summit. So tell me about that.
Well, India is the epicenter of the AI world right now. The CEOs of DeepMind, OpenAI, NVIDIA, almost every single major AI company in the world is in New Delhi right now. That's where actually Roadzen's India operations are headquartered. We're in our India office today, and we are participating in the summit. We are doing multiple roundtables, meeting with policymakers, meeting with partners and clients. Drive Buddy is doing a live showcase of its technology in partnership with one of the leading truck makers in the country. And we are doing live demos in Pune. And so we're hoping for a really exciting week ahead. And we think, as we shape the conversation in AI, especially around insurance and mobility, we think Roadzen should be at the forefront of that conversation with policymakers and other labs in the
Well, that
space.
sounds like a great conference. A lot of good information there. So thank you.
Thank you.